Hello there, YouTubers, and welcome to Jesse Hill's Airsoft Corner. Today we're going to be tackling a subject that is asked quite a bit in the Airsoft community for a lot of new people and for people that want to stay in shape. It is, Jesse, what kind of foods would I want to eat to keep me fueled throughout the Airsoft day if I'm going to be playing all day or for short bursts? Now, as you know, in Airsoft, a lot of people get their adrenaline pumping very quickly. If you watch a lot of videos, their heartbeat, well, you can almost hear their heartbeat, and you can hear their breathing is quite labored, even though they're mostly jogging or lightly walking. That being said, you're going to burn up a lot of energy. You're going to sweat twice as much. Most of these people get over in about 15 minutes or within the first 2 games. But for the most part, some people can. I talked to a couple refs that I know that are like that in the entire game. That being said, they're going to burn up twice as many calories because their adrenaline's going. And it also helps you lose weight, but you also lose quite a bit of salt and liquid by sweating through doing that. I'm just going to give you some tips on what to eat and what not to eat. Alright, first off, the most important thing to carry in a camel bag or in a bottle or anything like that, or a little canteen if you got that going on, is agua, H2O, or water, more known as that. Now, this is the most important thing because you're mostly made up of water, duh. But when you wear a lot of that gear, it does get warm. I wear heavy gear, but you know, if you're not used to it, you could almost have a heat stroke. And it's important if you're doing any kind of exercise or gaming of any kind, as far as physical activity goes, that this is the main part of your day. You need to have plenty of water to where you're not thirsty, and throughout the day have sips or an even dosage of water to help you keep up your hydration, because if you don't, you can get terribly sick. I've seen people eat before they come, and then they play, and they get their heartbeat going, and they don't drink enough water, and they just get really nauseous and sick, and that's just because they're overheating, and the food in their stomach is actually starting to ferment because it's not digesting. All the energy is going to the muscles. So, yeah. So water is very important. Another thing you can't go wrong with is fruits, vegetables, and things like carrots and apples and oranges slices. You can put into a little baggie and throw in your stuff, and you can eat that and suck on an orange and help you replenish not only water, but get some vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. Another thing I recommend is to eat lots of foods with potassium in it. It's good to stretch before any kind of sports game, but it's also good to have potassium. It keeps you from cramping up and keeps you from being sore afterwards. That being said, it's very important that you have that so you keep up your stamina. As far as physicality goes. The better you take care of your physique, the better off you'll be. I know that I've got a bit of a gut and I look a little bit out of shape, but I was a physical trainer for a short time before I broke my back in a car accident. But I can tell you that having potassium is a very useful and often overlooked sort of thing to have in any kind of sport. So I recommend that you eat something like this, or a banana, or something like that carries it. But there are plenty of other things that can help you out. Next, I have granola. Now, I'm a big fan of the bare naked granola stuff, and this has got dried bananas, flaxseed, sunflower seeds, coconut oil, natural sugars, bran, and all kinds of good stuff. So not only is this good dietary fiber while you're moving, I call the sportsman craps because you'll have to go to the bathroom after you play sports. I know a lot of people that suffer from that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but your body's jettisoning all the bad stuff in your system that kind of settles when you're not doing anything and when you're not in movement. That being said, this is not only good for you in the long run, but it's also good energy because oats and brans and things with great fiber burn a long time, like a big lump of coal in a furnace. They burn hot, so they give you lots of energy, and they burn over time, which means that you'll stay full longer because they inflate in the digestive fluid. I know that's gross, but they keep you full, but they also give you plenty of good stuff. Another thing that you might want to do is eat lots of dry foods. Dried fruits are often known to have more beneficial things in them, such as vitamins and minerals, than their counterpart that is not dry, that is still hydrated. It's weird how that works, but there's a chemical compound or a chemical breakdown that occurs in dried fruit that causes a spike in quite a bit of vitamins and minerals. It's almost like concentrate, only it's really good for you, unlike the concentrates you see in like foods and candies and juices. This kind of concentrate is good for you. However, I do recommend that you do use the restroom and go number 2 before you do eat these dried fruits on the field, because you might get the runs. There's good and bad with everything, but they will definitely be beneficial to your body, and you'll definitely feel a lot better considering you're getting toxins out of your system quite quicker with like dried cranberries or prunes or raisins or dried cherries or something like that. They're also very tasty and good for you. So it's a win-win situation. Good health tip. Also, an interesting thing is what I do are these little Lipton cup soup things. Now, you can eat these cold. They're a very thin, small noodle that inflates in water. You don't have to necessarily microwave this, but you can microwave it for like a minute, and you only need like 3/4 cups of water, so that's like 6 ounces, and it's good food because it's got salt. Now, salt is very important to your body because your body needs it and it craves it. Salt also helps you retain water, which is good for you in a sense. For instance, during World War II, on the storming of Iwo Jima or D-Day, they make them have salt tablets. And when water wasn't necessarily available to them immediately, after the canteens were empty, the salt really helped them keep hydration and keep them hydrated. Because, I mean, as many of you may know, electrolytes are essentially pretty churched up salts. So, I mean, yeah, it's common sense. So, yeah, I recommend this. It's tasty. It's not bad for you, and I mean, it'll get you through the day, and it's savory, and it's got plenty of good salts in it to keep you going. So, and finally, I can't forget this. This is just one of my personal favorites. I keep it in the old day bag. Here we go. Cliff Bars, or any kind of energy bar for that matter. They are chock-a-block full of good stuff. This one's got 10 grams of protein, good carbs, like, substantial carbs that are good for you, and I'll get into that afterwards. It's got good fiber. It's got a decent amount of sodium. Like I said, it's good. Believe it or not, it's very good for you in small doses, like in these. It has potassium, 240 milligrams. That's quite a bit for one thing. It's got good carbs. It's got 40 grams of good carbs, which are fibrous carbs from starchy materials such as flaxseed and that sort of thing, which I explained earlier as well. It's got it has no cholesterol, and it's about 250 calories, which is decent. Now, going into calories, I will say that calories are a good thing. A lot of people say, oh, that's too many calories. Calories actually don't mean what you think. Calories are the actual amount of energy your body exerts. It's a caloric count. That's why they call it the caloric count. It's the amount of energy it takes scaled into a mathematical equation. That being said, what you need to worry about is saturated fats, trans fats, and that sort of thing. But calories are not the enemy necessarily. Anything can be bad. Too much of anything. Too much fiber can make you, it'll clean you out. And too much of potassium can make you nauseous. It's that sort of thing. It's a balance. But I'm telling you right now, calories are not the thing you need to worry about. Men and women that are in movement and are physically active definitely need more than 3,000 calories a day. Every person in the world, who's skinny or not, needs to have 3,000 calories a day at least. And that's non-active people. Anybody who's working or moving a lot needs almost, I'd say half of, a little bit more than that. About, I've heard people going up to about 5,000 calories a day if you're really active. 4,000 if you're moderately active. With that being said, a lot of people count the calories rather than the nutritional value. Carbs are good in small doses, but a lot of the nutritional value is overlooked because the calories are bigger. Calories are not a bad thing. It is merely just a mathematical equation to talk about how much the body uses to exert the amount of force to digest and use it. It's the energy that you get from the food, such as vitamins, proteins, minerals, and carbohydrates. You just really need to stay away from the saturated fats, the complex sugars such as maltose, dextrose, maltodextrin, and all that sort of thing. So please stop getting that confused. It's very simple. It's very easy to understand. It's just people are misled many times by dietitians. Okay? And last but not least, I'm going to talk about something that I do not recommend that you use during a game. Soda pop. As far as beverages go, this is a no-no. I love Mountain Dew as much as the next guy, but this is definitely something that you do not want in your system. These sugars will dehydrate you. The salts in this are not good salts, and they are just not... It's just... Come on, it's Mountain Dew. It's syrup with carbonation. Caffeine is great and all, but it's not in this sort of thing. You shouldn't caffeinate before you play anyway. You should let natural energies fuel you, rather. Now, I will recommend something a little different. I do apologize for its misshapen quality at the moment, but Zenergy. Zenergy is very good. Or Zions. Zions Zenergy. There we go. Zions was formulated by some MMA fighters that did not want to have to drink energy drinks like Monster and Amp and Red Bull, which are detrimental to your system. Sorry, guys, but it's the truth. Some less than others. But these have 0 calories. They've got plenty of good things in them, plenty of vitamins. You cannot go wrong with these. Kids can take these and drink these and have no problem. They're almost like a health drink. I've done some research on these, and you can't do anything wrong, because you got to remember that MMA fighters and all these mixed martial artists are some of the most in shape people on the planet. The training regimens they go through are insanity. I've seen it happen. But I can tell you that this stuff really does work, and it's a good fuel source, and it's a good, much like chocolate milk is recommended, as a good recovery tool. My dad takes them, and he's in his 70s, and he said they really do help him. He was a disbeliever at first, but, whatever. It works. Long and short, it works. But overall, I can say that these sort of things will really definitely help you out in your airsoft game. It's when it comes down to is moderation, be able to say no and not eat too much. Well, guys, this is Jesse Hill signing off for another episode of Jesse Hill's Airsoft Corner. I hope these nutritional pieces of wisdom were able to help you, and I hope that you guys will take my advice. It's definitely a better way of living healthy, and it's definitely a better way of avoiding puking during a game. You guys take it easy. Have a nice day.